Hello! Do you know why you hit bad shots? More importantly, how to hit good shots? If you don't, then join me in a moment. Not a lime or a lemon or a piece of mint in the house. So it's just ice and gin and tonic, but still tastes good. So this evening I want to talk about something that we've probably talked about before, basically how you remember, save and recall information from your brain so that you hit good golf shots, and what is actually the reason for you hitting bad shots. So for people who obviously don't watch these videos down in the cellar, then this is all new for you. For the guys of you who do watch these things, it's never bad to repeat them. If I am repeating myself, drop me a comment down below and I'll try not to do it again. The reason I'm doing it is because I've got a nice little analogy to kind of tell you about. But first of all, really, if you think about the reasons that you hit bad shots, I think the main one is basically we're trying to do something that we can't do. We're trying to hit the ball further than we can. We're trying to hit a shaper shot that we can't. Maybe we're trying to make a movement that we haven't learned yet. These are reasons why you're going to hit bad shots. The second reason, I think sometimes it's just simply you're not concentrating. You know, maybe you've decided the shot's too easy, maybe your brain is somewhere else, you're just not quite at it when you actually get over the golf ball and then you hit a loose one and that costs you. The third reason I would say is that you're actually thinking about hitting a bad shot. Now, obviously that's probably not something that any of us do purposely, but don't forget that your brain doesn't understand no or don't. So if you don't want to hit the ball in the out of bounds, you're likely to do it. And if you don't want to hit it into the water hazard, you're likely to do it. If you're trying not to miss the fairway, you're probably going to miss the fairway. So kind of putting a negative spin on it, things that you're trying to avoid are things that you're probably likely to do. The other reason is probably, you know, you're human. You've done everything in your capacity to hit a good shot and you still don't hit a good shot. So if you take those as the reasons for it, I think the big question in our minds is, how in the world can I remember to hit the out of bounds, but I can't remember to hit the green? Why am I able to recall a swing that I haven't made for half a year, and I can't remember a swing that I practiced 5 minutes ago? And that's one of the most frustrating things, I think, for all golfers, that we get out there, we practice on the driving range, we get something going, we are practicing routines and we're getting those going, but somehow on the golf course, we just can't get it to gel. And I heard an analogy the other day, which I thought was really quite good, just to give you kind of a picture of what's maybe going on in your brain. And the analogy basically was that your brain works a little bit like kind of a library. What it's looking for is for you to save movements, books, in a library of events. And when you are ready to call up the event or go into the library and get the book of your choice, sometimes you're just not really clear of exactly what you want, and the librarian will give you the wrong book. So if you can imagine yourself on a golf course and you're on the third hole and you've supposedly got to actually get it over that water hazard into a tight pin position, but all you can remember is the last time you actually chunked it and knocked it into the water. It's incredible how often you will chunk it again and knock it into the water. Although on the driving range, you were able to hit that easy 120 meter 9-iron straight at the target you were looking at. And this situation on the third hole is basically able to remind you more of what you don't want to do than remind you of what you do want to do. And I think this is basically a good analogy to actually have the feeling of, unfortunately, in the library are not only good shots. On the contrary, the good shots are kind of at the back of the library, somewhere where the librarian doesn't really want to go. You know, you go in there and say, well, I've been looking for this book, and you can see that they're not really got time for you. And at the front of the library, in fact, on the desk, are all the things that you really don't want, the books you've read and didn't like. And unfortunately, they're the ones that she wants to give you. Why is that? It's just simply habit. We are creatures of habit, and we tend to do the same things over and over again. It's a way that our brain automates our lives by giving us exactly the same kind of feelings, emotions, and making us do exactly the same things as we did the last time. Now, obviously, if these are positive feelings and emotions and the last result was positive, then that's a good thing. But unfortunately, far too often on the golf course, these are negative things. On top of that, apparently, if any of these negative things are emotionally biased, that you socket a golf ball, which can be an extremely emotional shot, then you're far more it's far easier to recall that than it is to recall that lovely baby fade that you kind of landed next to the flag about 3 months ago. So the big trick is basically recall those kind of things. And one of the ways of doing that is a thing that they call from NLP anchoring. Anchoring is basically trying to solidify the association to the good shot. Now, we talked a couple of weeks ago about just basically getting a better pre-shot routine. If you can change your pre-shot routine when you change in your swing so that it's recalling the new information that you want and not the old information, then you're on your way to having a really, a good chance of actually making the movement that you want to make. However, sometimes, yeah, you know what it is, there's just old memories and old habits that just don't die. And in this library of movement, you're not always calling up, unfortunately, the movement you want. You're calling up the movement that you don't want. So what you do in anchoring is basically you try to give yourself something which just reminds you even more intensely of what it is you want to do. And one of the tricks they use in NLP is basically associating an extra movement, an extra thought, or an extra feeling even better to a positive result. So if I can get myself doing a routine, I can imagine myself making the movement I want to make. I go up to the golf ball, hit a positive shot. What I'll do is I'll do something which will remind me of it. A lot of times they tell you to put an elastic band on your wrist and just give it a twing or pinch yourself. Something which you wouldn't do in every day. I tend to kind of press my middle finger and thumb together, just to basically really hard, just to kind of remind myself that was really good. And when I get myself onto the golf course and I've just hit a bad shot, or I can stand up there and I can imagine a really hitting a bad shot, then I'll basically try and press these things together again and imagine the good shot. And this added emotional or physical feeling which is associated to good shots will help you to recall them again. And I think if you can accept that, unfortunately, every bad shot that you've hit is probably in the library, but every good shot is in there as well, then the trick is just, what are you asking the librarian to give you? And are you asking her directly enough so that she understands you? Is it clear what you want? Because if it isn't, then unfortunately you're going to get exactly what you don't want. And I think we've all experienced that. So that might be something to try tomorrow. Start on the range, try and get yourself in your routine, visualizing what it is you want to do. Go up to the golf ball, hit the shot. If it's a positive success, then get something, some extra kind of physical reminder of that. And then when you're on the golf course and you're not getting exactly the vision that you want, then use the physical reminder to help you. And then I can't guarantee, but I can say you've got a better chance of hitting the shot you want if you're hitting a shot that you know you can do, that you have proven to yourself in the past. And if that's the only thing in your brain, why in the world should your body do anything else? That's it. So, short and sweet. Try it on the range tomorrow. As ever, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do that for me. It definitely helps. And don't forget the little bell. The notifications will let you know that I've dropped another one, a video that is. And if you're looking for my philosophy and everything I think I know about golf, then I shall leave you a link to it up here in the left-hand corner. Have a very good evening. See you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.